Let's give Mo Hassanin a round of applause.
I'm sure when I'm talking about it, but like coming here was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. So don't regret it for a single second.
Where else were you thinking about when you made the decision to come here?
I wanted to go to all the big places, like Q's new house, and applied to as many of the best journalism places as possible because that's what I wanted to do. And I got into all different realms. Didn't get into Q's though. Still hold that to this day. But I was looking at Rutgers. I was looking at Seton Hall, a different mixture of places. Not Temple, ironically enough. I did apply, but I wasn't really looking there. And Rowan was honestly at the bottom of my list. I did not think I was coming here, and I came on campus one day to meet Dr. John Giannini, talked about journalism program, and told him I was interested in sports. And he said, we actually have this really cool new thing, and you should check it out. One piece of paper that had the journalism program was pink, and the other one was white. I remember it was two different pieces of paper, and the other one I was like, wow, that really interests me, and it was sports cam. So lo and behold, later I got to meet Neil, and the rest is kind of history, and it's a story.
So this is pretty unique for you guys because you're talking about a guy that can take you back to the beginning years of the sports camp program, which I think is pretty cool. What was it like in the beginning years?
I enjoyed every moment that I was here learning what I was learning, and I think that no one can ever take that away from me. I think like in college it's really hard to find something you like, and we all are sitting here because we all like sports. Maybe we don't know what exactly we do like in sports, but having an idea of what field you want to work in the first place, like that's a big head start. Most people don't figure it out, or they change. You probably have friends that have all done the same thing. You guys might have done the same thing. These are just journeys that you live in college. And I was fortunate enough that I got into sports in high school. I thought I wanted to be a broadcaster, and that's how I landed here. And then obviously things have not panned out that way. Maybe one day I'll get back into it, but for now that's not what I'm doing. And I'm still very grateful because I've learned a lot of different entities, not just here, but even after college as well.
So what I want to do is I want to have Mo give you his step-by-step how he accomplished what he accomplished. And he's a young guy, and he's got a good job at a big Division I school, which is impressive. But your first internship was where?
ADX Sport. Oh, actually, I can even go back further. I didn't have an internship until my junior year of school. And I don't remember if you know this conversation even existed, but I remember this conversation very vividly where you and I had a relationship for 2 years post-COVID, and you kind of just were honest with me, and you thought that I was slacking, and you saw something in me that I didn't even know I had. So you telling me you need to get in gear and work harder was something that I'm very grateful for to this day. I think that even if it's not him, like everybody needs someone like that who's going to hold them accountable to do something that they actually want to do, because even outside of work there are things that I don't think I'm capable of. Other people are helping me in my support system, and that's something probably I'm talking about a lot of is. So I really do thank you like for years and years of mentorship, and without that kick in the butt, like I wouldn't be sitting here doing the opposite, being in your shoes what I was 4 to 8 years ago. So very grateful for you. You just happen to be my person, and I hope that all of you find somebody one day that will kick you in the butt if you need it.
So we do keep in close touch. We whenever there's a job change in his life, we talk about it and things like that, and I hope to do that. And I do that for a lot of students, and that's one of the great parts of my job. I love that part of it. So your first internship, ADX.
Yes. So you told me you gotta get something. Did ADX. It was a social media gig for a startup company.
They reached out, by the way, to me saying, and it had some soccer components.
Yeah, it was a soccer thing.
I think I took it off your bio. Yeah, but he's a soccer referee. He's been a soccer referee for 12 years. Okay, so he loved soccer, he knew soccer really well. I'm like, this might be a good thing, startup. They're not going to look at your resume and go, what experience do you have? Like, they're going to look for someone that can just help them.
Yeah.
So take us from there.
And I just kind of did whatever I was told. Like, and not even that. I was throwing ideas at the wall and hoping that they would, like something. And I was just trying to be ambitious. And it's hard to do, but I was in this mindset that, like, I'm I'm late. I gotta work hard. I gotta do something. And if this is all I got right now, then I just gotta work. And I did. It was not anything glamorous, but I had a portfolio now. Like I had been working on social media things. I'd shown that I had some skill sets, and I was able to contribute somewhere if someone needed me. So that's what I needed. I needed something on my resume, and that was the something that I got. So I was very grateful for that in the first place, and then everything else kind of trickled on from there. So I was at ADX, and then that was my junior year, and then my senior year, just through like connects and with your help obviously too, the Princeton thing not landed in my lap, but I had actually gone out myself and applied, and then told Neil like, hey, this is something that I applied for, like, do you think you can help me? And just for context too, I live in Central Jersey, if you believe in it or not. Different conversation for a different day. I see some fists.
Where are you from in Central Jersey?
Princeton.
Princeton?
Yeah, I lied. I'm from the town over from Princeton, but I just say I'm from Princeton. I'm from Montgomery. So I live 20 minutes from the university. I grew up 20 minutes from the university. My first hockey game was a Princeton hockey game. My first basketball game was a Princeton basketball game. I had just grown up around it, and I had known it, and you know, I was like, it makes sense. Like, even though I was going to live at school, like I can come home, see my mom, and it made sense for me. It just mattered if it made sense for them. And with your help and, you know, some names like Cody Crushell and other people that I've met along the way there, I got in, and I just, same mentality, just need to work as hard as I possibly can and learn as much as I can and be a sponge.
So 4+ years later,
Yeah.
you were there. But as I showed here on your bio, you worked at 2 separate institutions while still finding time to work at Princeton
Yeah.
in athletic communications at those 2 schools. So
Yeah.
tell me how that worked out. How did you work that out?
I was a COVID kid, right? So sophomore year didn't exist. And I think after that point, like a lot of people will tell you that the job industry just took a hit across the board. And in our business, there are a lot of jobs, but there really aren't a lot of jobs. So for a guy who had 1 piece of experience on his field, 2 pieces of experience a year at Princeton, barely that, no one was going to hire me, no matter how many places I applied to. And I'm not trying to discourage anybody, but that's just the cool reality of what it was in the situation. Like, I didn't have enough experience. And part of that was on me because I slacked my first couple of years. And without that kick in the butt from Mr. Hartman, I would have been in a much worse position. But nonetheless, like, I knew that I had to juggle things and I had to work hard because I'm 2 years behind, so I got to catch up. And for me, that was staying connected at Princeton, like making sure, saying like, hey, I'm here next year if you guys need something. Like, I'm more than happy to come back and help, while also trying to use my network and trying to find something that isn't necessarily, might be like a full-time job, but something where I can get my foot in the door and build a skill set. So I ended up at St. Elizabeth University for a year. Great people again, and another theme in this business is you meet great people and you connect with those great people and you keep them in your wheelhouse, you keep them in your phone and you use them when you need to and you help them when they ask for help. Just think that's just part of the business, unfortunately. I say that unfortunately because I wish it wasn't that way. I wish everyone got hired based on merit, but a lot of this business is about the relationships and connections you meet. So great guy, Tom Wagenblast, who I met through a connection that I had when I was in high school. So he was just like, hey, we don't have an SID right now in our athletic department, which is a sports information director, and we need someone to do the work. So I was like, great, I don't know what a sports information director is, but I'm gonna figure it out. And what I found out is that being a sports info director is a lot of the skills that I already had. So like, I understand sports. I know how to write because of the journalism background. I know the social media creation content at a basic level where enough where I can post and do something for a Division III institution where like just gets the job done minimum, worry about the rest later. There are things that I hadn't learned, like content management systems, like how do you actually hold and maintain a website, how do you that's a whole other story too, but how do you stat a baseball game, how do you stat a basketball game, how do you stat a volleyball game, and just all these other things that involve like what an athletic department does that people don't see, or things that we take for granted. Like, somebody is up late at night after the game creating the content that people see either that night or that morning, and that's where the late businesses in those industries come. So I worked a lot of late nights at that job, for not a lot of money. And it was one of the most gratifying years that I've ever had in this business because I was working my tail end off and I knew I was working hard and I made a lot of mistakes, but I knew that people saw that I was working hard and I was gaining skills that I didn't have yesterday. So all in all, like, I ended up becoming, like, I knew how to be an SID, at least at the Division III level. I understood all the different sports and how to write, how to post on social media, how to work with coaches is a big thing, no matter what part of athletics you work in, how to work with coaches, how to see their vision and see what they want and then make it come to life. And all in all, like, another theme in this business is you're going to move on to new opportunities. So I got a new opportunity at another Division III school while also still being at Princeton. And then I was at NJCU and same stuff there, but we had a team, so it was a lot more life balance. Was able to work at Princeton as well, not really like running all over the state to do different things. Nonetheless, though, I was still commuting, and I learned a lot. Another guy, Alex Falk, who just took a chance on me. I only had 1 year of experience, and he said, "You can join my team, that's fine." He needed somebody, and I met a lot of great people there too, and without my experiences there, like, I wouldn't have learned just like how to operate with people, because I was working a lot by myself in my last job. So I know that's a mouthful, but Division III is a mouthful, I think is the best way to put it. There's a lot of different things that go on, and you learn a lot of different things, and I encourage it to anybody.
I think one thing that you should absorb is the commitment that Mo had. Are you committed enough? You're all here for Pizza with the Pros, and shows me you have commitment. And you could be other places, but you're here. He could have done other things, but he stuck it out. He mentioned didn't make a lot of money, drove all over the state, but he made the commitment, and then people started recognizing your commitment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. All this time I was waiting for a job at Princeton, in quite honesty. I was waiting for a full-time job at Princeton, hoping that it would come. Hoping is kind of something that maybe I regret doing, and I didn't, maybe try to expand outwards, but I really wanted that job. I really wanted something at Princeton where I was able to work wholly with ice hockey, and specifically that sport, but any other sport I can at that level of institution. A full-time job did not necessarily open up, but it was basically a full-time job where I was working full-time hours, and I was making money, but I wasn't like, a lot of people couldn't live off that money, and I was still grinding. Like, I got to where I wanted to go, and I was still grinding. And even now, to this day, two and a half change later, like, I still feel like I'm grinding. And I think that's kind of why, not to like project myself, I think that's why you asked me to come here, because 4 years ago I was sitting in your shoes, and I've had to endure and grind a lot, and like, we've had conversations where I talked about leaving the business. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this right now. I don't know if I want to stay. Like, and I'm glad I didn't, because I just kept grinding and persevering, and it all panned out. It all ended up working out. So
It's 100% the reason I want you here, because your story is something that they should hear because of the way you stuck with it.
yeah,
And they have to understand that it's not easy.
no,
That it's going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of no's and disappointments. But if you stick with it, now he's wearing this,
Yeah.
and now he's assistant director of marketing for Temple Athletics.
yeah.
So what's that job like? And then we'll take their questions.
So I'll talk about what I do in general, and then I'll talk about what I did at Princeton, and I'll talk about what I did at Temple, because I think it's important. So fan engagement and game presentation is all about everything that's not the game. So imagine everything that happens in the game besides what's going on in the game. Like, anyone tell me.
What's going on? Go ahead, Len.
Promotions. All right, that's one. I'm looking for a big one.
Go ahead, Andres.
Like stuff that's happening around the event.
Yes, that's a good idea. So like fan events, fan fests. Yeah, there's one big thing that if it didn't happen at a game, you would be like, where is this?
Sam?
Yeah.
The food.
Good point. Not necessarily us. It can with surveys. They're going to come back to us, but
All right,
not
go ahead.
necessarily
What?
for it.
Event setup.
Kind of. Not really.
How you like run your social media accounts?
No, there's something that goes on during the game that. What's up?
Like
Dylan?
sound and lights.
Yes. So what specifically with sound and lights?
Music
Yes. You've redeemed yourself, Nova Kid. Yes. So, sound and lights. Like, if there was no music at a basketball game, you would be like, why is it quiet in here, right? That's all us. We, coordinating, like, what happens, when it happens. And honestly, at the back end, like, with planning and stuff, why it happens. A lot of what we're trying to do now at Temple is make things more modern and incorporate more, like, fan engaging things. So, like, a big thing with music, with the video board, is like, what are we doing for fans that's just not the game where they're sitting there and have their hands in their laps. Like, what are they gonna do? Is there gonna be a dance cam? Is there gonna be a good sing-along song? We do all the fun things, basically. So yes, promotions, t-shirt tosses, anything between like breaks, all that fun stuff, all that fun jazz, that's us in the marketing department. So that's overall general. At Princeton, Ivy League, it's very well known that the Ivy League institutions are understaffed, so you're wearing a lot of hats. And I say that because my Division III experience made me just step into that naturally, because that's what you're doing at the Division III level. So at Princeton, when I was doing a game, let's say I'm doing a hockey game, right? I am doing the music, I am directing the game, and with the PA announcer, and I'm directing what happens on the ice, and you're just doing everything and doing the music, right? At a lacrosse game, I'm doing the video board, I'm doing the music, I'm directing the PA. Like, there's a lot of things that are going on that are supposed to be multiple bodies. At the professional level, the higher levels of Division I, where they're staffed enough, you have people to do those things, like at Temple. So at Temple, we're basically directing the show. We're not necessarily like involved as much with like doing the show, but directing the show is something that everything happens for a reason. Everything's scripted. Most things we know we're gonna happen, right? There are timeouts that happen spontaneously at the end of the game. Sometimes we don't know what we're gonna do, but a lot of the game, like, we know what PA read is being read because we scripted that already. So every game has a script. Every game we know what's going on the video board at a certain time. Every game we know what songs we're playing at a certain time. We know what PA is being read. And that's all us. Like, everything besides the basketball being dribbled, the puck being shot on the ice, the soccer ball being kicked. That's all marketing and fan engagement.
So to me, I think understanding game presentation is an important part of the business that I don't think people think about. Like, for Pizza with the Pros, we had the head of game presentation for the National Hockey League who came here as a Rowan grad, and now Mo's going kind of down that path as well. Hunter, when you do Monster Jam. So he does the West Coast for Monster Jam.
Cool.
Right? I'm imagining at Monster Jam, there's a lot that's going on as far as game presentation. True? You're not involved in that part. You're more involved in the production part. True?
I'm absolutely involved in the event presentation side.
Okay.
Our production is mostly based on event presentation. It's all for video boards, ribbons, lights around the venue, and all that stuff. So yeah.
So you're more game rather than for broadcast or for okay. So it's all within the building.
Yes.
And you shoot, like, you're a camera operator?
I'm not. Most of what my job is, I'm the graphics off for the show.
Okay. So you're working with somebody who is also being told by somebody, like, go now, like, do this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So that person is what our job is. Like, we're directing the show, and we have people at that kinds of levels where there's big enough events, more enough staff, where there's other people to help us direct the other things that we need help with.
So he started his job. He works the West Coast swing. He's here today, tomorrow, Wednesday. Then he flies out Thursday. Then he comes back on Sunday. Or it's Monday. Sunday night?
Depends. I
Depends.
just got back this morning.
He got back this morning. There you go. So, but I think this is a line of work that is not, you don't think about it,
Yeah.
but it's real. It's out there. There are jobs out there for you to pursue in that line of work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
True?
Yeah. There's always, especially in America, where it's not just the game that's going on, it's what's happening around the game that makes it an event. And that's kind of what our job focuses on, is how do we make this more than just a sports game? Because if it's just a sports game, you can find it in your backyard. You can honestly kick it on your TV. Like, that's, I think, the biggest battle that, if my industry or my side of the coin is fighting anything, it's that you can go watch any game you want, wherever you want, from your seat or your home. But it's like, what's going to get somebody to walk in the door and pay a ticket, more likely than not pay parking, buy something to eat? Like, what's going to have them do that and make it an experience/event rather than just a game?
Okay. Who here has shown interest in game presentation? Okay. Well, obviously you. Okay. Well, what are you thinking about? Like, what are you thinking about in game presentation? Like, what would you like to do? You're the one that came up with sound. What was sound and lights and sound? Lights and sound.
Yeah, like I'm not really like 100% sure like what that actual job is, and I'm still kind of like figuring out what I want to do. But I know like radio television is like that like area like really interests me, and like the soundboard and like the like that big antenna with all the buttons that look the same. Like I feel like learning how to do that would be like really interesting.
So, what would you recommend? So there were a good number here that are interested in going in your line of work.
Yeah.
How do you're not that typical path of how you did it. What is there a typical path, or what would you recommend to these students about how they can get involved in game presentation?
Look, you're not going to get game presentation at most Division III schools. That's just the reality of it, because a lot of Division schools don't have video board. They don't have the whole show. But there are elements that happen at a game, like music, that like does anyone work in college athletics first of all right now?
Yeah, well, a lot of these guys do. Yeah.
Like, okay, let me rephrase that question. Does anyone work directly with anybody who works in the athletics department, like an SID or a content creation person? Okay, so that's one side of the coin, right? You can like actually learn from them and understand what you could do and going out and shooting things, and that's one line of work, right? But then if you wanted to get into my line of work, like you'd probably want to go to a place that has the game presentation and just email people and be like, I'm interested in working on game day and seeing what you do on game day, because how many of you have actually worked behind the scenes on a game day when it comes to game presentation? Okay, so out of you guys, how many of you have seen a script? 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay. So the script is the biggest part of what we do, because it's basically like sign, seal, deliver, like this is what we're doing. And that is most of what we do during the week is scripting, putting things in the script, doing all that. And I encourage you that if you're interested in that, like it's as easy as, hey, I'm interested in coming to a game to see what you guys do behind the scenes. Even if it doesn't work out, like I would love to see a script, to see what it looks like, to see what the show looks like for you guys, and at least get an idea of what different athletic departments are doing. Like I can tell you my script at Princeton looks a lot different than the script at Temple, but it's the same concept. Like this media timeout, we're doing this thing. At halftime, we're doing this. Pregame, this is what pregame looks like. All these things are already preordained.
So here's the good news. Rowan University will have 6 scoreboards, video scoreboards, in the fall. Those scoreboards are going to need content, camera. He mentioned a lot of things like fan of the day. We're going to have cameras shoot. So this is something
And a director, don't forget.
And a director, right? And a director. So this is something that our program is working with athletics to figure out how we're going to do this and how we're going to manage this to be able to bring those scoreboards to life. And the scoreboard is a big part of game presentation.
Yep. When the scoreboard goes out, nobody likes that. I've had that happen plenty of times. It's not fun at all. And it's a big part because it's one of those things where if it's not working, people are like, what the heck is going on? But if it's on and it's functioning, everyone's like, oh, okay, well, it's part of the game. Like, let's go on. It's one of those things where it's only abnormal if it's not happening the way it's supposed to. Like, if it's oddly quiet after a timeout and nobody's injured on the court, you're probably like, where's the music?
Yeah.
Even when somebody's injured on the court, you're probably like, where's the music? And because a lot of the times, like, it's just discretionary, but for me personally, I wouldn't play music on when somebody's injured on the court, on the ice. Yeah, just because it's a respect etiquette thing. Depends. The Sixers did that with Joel Embiid when he got hurt a couple years ago, where he was just laying on the court and they're playing music. And like for me, I'm like, okay, nothing's happening, we're fine. But he's like actually laying in the corner, like.
Right.
So I mean, there are things that in the business you just kind of like, all right, we're not doing this at this certain moment. And there's on the flip side, there's like things that happen where you're like, we need to do this certain thing in this certain moment, whether it's a song, a noise meter on the video board, whatever it is, because we're trying to engage with the fans.
All right, who's got a question for, go ahead, Andres.
Me.
So you were a sports cam graduate.
Yes.
Obviously times were different in like 2022 and 2018 when you got here.
You call me old? No, I'm playing, I'm old. It's okay.
So if you were in the sports cam department now, obviously since we've gotten a lot bigger, what would you do differently, and what would you do like stuff like the same?
I would have gotten involved in an athletic department much earlier than I did, because quite honestly, college athletics is not going away, even in this industry and this space we live in now with NIL and the way that the business itself has shifted over the past 4 or 5 years. College athletics is not going away, and if you just get involved early, you might learn something that you like, and you probably will learn something that you don't like. Like I love being an SID because I got to interact with the kids and the student athletes, and I had relationships with them, coaches, and I was with the team, and I felt like I was part of the team. But I hated the hours, and like I know the business is about hours and late hours, but I was working till 12 a.m. and like writing recaps and doing things, and like I missed it, but I also was working in marketing at the same time, and I knew that like all what I was doing is planning and preparing, and then when the game is over, the game is over, and that did appeal to me more. And you know, at the higher levels of being in communications, you're basically on the coaching staff, especially if you're doing a baseball or if you're doing a sport that has a lot of games like a hockey. Like you are on the team basically. You are part of the guys or the gals that you're going on the road with. You're on the road with them. You're at every game. You know who they are because you're helping them with the press. Like there are a lot of responsibilities that go into that. It's a great job. I just didn't think it was for me, and I wanted something that I actually like. I enjoyed working with fans. I enjoy that part because I have sympathy and empathy for it. I love being a fan, and my job is to make sure fans have a good time when they come to games, and that is why I was like, all right, let's do marketing, let's do that. So I encourage you to get in early, because I would have found that out early. If I knew I was doing comms for 2 years, I would have been like, ooh, I don't know about this. Like, I like it, but I don't know about this.
What's your best piece of advice you got to know, like sports marketing or event planning or just in journalism? Because right now I want to go to sports marketing or event planning, but I'm really using right now I'm like getting super involved. Like I'm doing RTN and like the WIT, so I'm trying to figure out like which stuff I'm strong in. So far like marketing and that planning are strong, but like I feel like I'm also I realize I'm like such a good writer and stuff for journalism stuff.
So what is the skill set for Max's question? Like, what's the skill set you think that's suited for something with a title that you have, Assistant Director of Marketing?
Yeah, I think that marketing can kind of be an elusive term, what we do, because at the end of the day, we are marketing in the department, and we have to, get butts and seats and yada yada, but our job is also a lot more than that, because we are doing the game presentation, we are directing, we're basically doing operations too, we are doing the outreach with emails and whatnot. So I would say, again, like I said before, like an internship in an college athletic department will do you wonders, because you will learn, you will see what other people are doing, you're saying, okay, like maybe I can do that, but maybe I have to learn a content management system, or like a Hive, or like a email marketing system, so that you can actually like say that, oh, I have this on my resume, like, and where do I do this? And not even just college athletics, like minor league baseball too, if they have things along those lines as well. Minor league soccer, another internship that I did for Ira in Real Central Jersey. So some of your heads snapped. Yeah.
I did a Real Central Jersey for 2 years.
Yeah, I was the guy.
Well, he's doing Real Central this year. He did Real Central. A couple guys have done Real Central here in the room that I look around. Real Central.
Ira's good people.
Yeah.
Another guy that I put a lot of credit in, like my success, because he said a lot of good things about me and has helped me along the way, and he has good people too. So again, like good people, you just gotta really be able. I'm not asking you to kiss butt. I'm not asking you to do that. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to go out there and like try to find somebody that you want to see yourself be in that position in 2 or 3 years, and connect with them and say, hey, I'm interested in what you do. Is there anything you can teach me? Is there anything I can learn? Is there any direction that I can go in to get to where I think that I want to go to, or at least the things I want to learn?
By the way, he mentioned SID before. If you don't know that, Sports Information Director. So that's in athletic communications within the university athletic department. Okay, so that's the person that handles all the athletic communications. So it's called SID. That's Sports Information Director. Go ahead, Sam.
Can you reiterate what you did at Real Central?
Yeah, I did broadcast actually. I did a lot of
He was
broadcast.
he was a color analyst.
But before I did broadcast, I was doing a lot of social. So Ira and Jeremy, they were just asking me to help with like designs and the be real thing.
Yeah.
I will take credit for that, because that was me who came up with that. They wanted it was Get Real, And I was like, I mean, Be Real kind of makes more sense. And then they've since ran with it, and I see it all the time now. So I will happily take credit for that. Ira and Jeremy will tell you the same thing. It's fine. But I basically, that was a startup. Again, like, that's 2 startups for me. And I just was like, I'm an ambitious go-getter. Like, whatever we got to do is whatever we got to do. And they appreciated that. I was doing the social media stuff. I was doing the content. I was also broadcasting. I also helped out pregame, breakdown, setup. So I was just like getting my hands dirty and doing whatever.
Remember, he had a lot of experience as a referee, so soccer's been a big part of his life for a long period of time.
I still do. Like, I'm still refereeing. I'm actually, like, I'm trying to work my way up, and it's something that I really I care about outside of work. And it's another piece of advice if I can give you, like, it doesn't have to be going around tweeting a whistle and watching soccer ball go around, aka more sports, but find something outside of work that you can fall back on and lean on, because this business is really tough.
What is your certification right now for soccer? Like, how high are you? I mean, you're pretty high level, aren't you?
So I'm technically a grassroots referee, but I'm
what?
Grassroots.
Grassroots.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
trying to get my next badge so that I can then work my way to the professional ranks. Would be very cool, but there's still a lot of things and a lot of work I have to put in. It's something that I've cared about in my life, a long part of it. So I got 4 years now of, like, real experience, and I'm just trying to be patient and be humble and work my way up. But it's something that I'm working on outside of work, because I know if I don't have that, I'm gonna go insane. I know I'm gonna just work myself to death. I'm gonna keep constantly thinking about work. Like, I'm an avid believer that you need something in your life where you can lock everything away for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is. If it's more sports for you, if it's going to a game, fine, so be it. But, like, whatever it is, you need something in your life that you can fall back on. So this is what I do to get mentally clear, because I feel like that's something in this business that we forget to do.
Most people wouldn't think being a soccer referee would be able to, dealing with fans and dealing with all the headaches that might come with being a referee.
But I tell you what, I don't think about anything for 2 hours. Even when I was doing SID stuff and I was constantly thinking about everything, like, it was my way of jumping out of my car and I'm like, this is what I'm doing for the next 2 hours. I don't think about anything else, and I can reset my brain. And sure, things happen on the field, and soccer is one of the greatest sports in the world, filled with passion. Things happen, but I really found comfort in the fact, I still find comfort in the fact that I can go out there and I don't have to think about work. I can lock everything else away and I can do that. And whatever it is, if it's watching movies, if it's reading a book, whatever it is, if it's going to the park with your dog, it doesn't matter to me as long as you're taking care of yourself. That's the most important thing.
All right, Mason.
When you worked as an SID, was there ever a time where a coach or a player wasn't cooperating, and how did you kind of respond to a situation like that?
Yeah, there are moments. There are moments where you don't see eye to eye, I would say is the better word. And the thing is like, I don't want this to come off wrong. There are a lot more jobs out there that are where people are risking their lives. It's a lot more serious, and we do something important. We don't do something that's not important, no matter what level you are. It's Division III. You're working with student athletes that might come from a rough background, or might come maybe they're first generation. That experience is very important to them. So you're working your butt off to give them the best experience possible. At the highest of Division I levels, you're not even just working. You're not really just working for the athletes. You're working for everybody and their mother who watches the team, who engages in what you're doing, and that's also a big responsibility too. So of all different kinds, even in my line of work, you don't see eye to eye with people. People don't see where you might have one opinion and you might have one opinion. I'm a firm believer is that it's always somewhere in the middle where the right answer is, because I'm never always right. I'm right sometimes. Not a lot of the time. Most of the time I'm not right. But I think someone else is probably right. Maybe their idea might need to be reworked a little bit, but you meet in the middle. And I think that is my approach, if that answers your question. Sometimes I'm just all right, we gotta meet in the middle somewhere. And that's honestly the best you can get from people, and the best you'll get out of yourself too. You'll learn that everybody's different, and coaches, they have a lot on their plate. They're dealing with 18 to 22-year-olds, and their profession is based off of the performance of 18 to 22-year-olds, your age. It's a lot of responsibility and a lot of chance. It's a hard job. At the end of the day, everybody cares. And I think that's the big takeaway, is that once you step away and be you know what, we're not saving lives. Nothing is life or death. Everybody cares. This is something important, but just taking a step back and meeting somewhere in the middle is the two approaches I would say.
Okay, right here.
big part of game presentation is sponsored elements.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of keep things fresh without making fans feel like you're pushing like a brand or a product onto them?
What an excellent question. Wow, that was a good one. So, sponsored elements. Every level that you go at is different. So, like, let me ask you, like, what's your favorite sports team?
New York Mets.
I'm sorry I asked.
I knew you were going to say that.
My girlfriend's a Mets fan, so I went to Citi Field 3 times last year, 2 of which to see the Phillies, and the other one I was dragged to. So, I've been to Citi Field. But I will say that the Mets have one of the best game presentations that I've seen with my own eyes. Like, I love what they do. The video board is awesome, and like, you feel like you're at an event, right? A lot of what they do can't happen without sponsorships. I'm sure, as you know already. Like, there really isn't a lot of money in the marketing end per se, depending on where you're at, especially in college athletics. So we rely on other resources like sponsored elements and giveaways from those people and incorporating them because we're contractually obligated to. But how can we make this engaging for the fans? So that's a great question because we deal with sponsored elements all the time. Like, I know our sponsorship team, right? We're trying to sponsor everything because we can, and it's just a perfect way to do it. And I think in 5-10 years time, you're going to see a lot less public address announcements in this world of not even just college sports, but in general, because people are realizing that myself, you, and everybody else we're not really listening to them. And how do we engage and give the sponsor what they need and deliver on that, but also make something engaging that people are actually going to take home and walk away with? So, like, what's your favorite thing about the Mets game presentation?
I mean, the video board's huge.
Video board,
obviously,
okay.
But yeah, I would say a lot of their pregame content kind of just works and flows well.
Yeah, I'm trying to be careful what I say. So, I think Mr. and Mrs. Met is a big part of that game presentation too, because they always have them on the dugout, and like those things are preordained. Like 95% of the time, people know what's going to happen. Like, anyone here a soccer person? Soccer people? So like, okay, back to you. In a soccer script, right? Have you seen a script before? I forgot what you just said. You haven't? Okay. So like, how many parts of a soccer game are there from the moment that you walk in the door, gates open, to the end? Like big sections.
Actual game or like
From the moment the doors open until everybody leaves, because that's what our job consists of.
like the actual game and then like the
Before the game.
there's a lot of events. Like I've been to Philadelphia Union game. I've been to like outside events. There's like all these games and like radios and
Yes.
like different food and like all this.
Yep. So
stuff
fan
that we need.
fan event stuff. Sorry to cut you off. Fan event stuff, right? But I'm talking like, it says the game kicks off at 7:30, but it does not kick off at 7:30. The game kicks off at 7:40 for MLS, right? Why does the game kick off at 7:40 instead of 7:30? What happens in those 10 minutes? Is anybody else? Yeah.
Like pregame, national anthem,
Yeah.
starting lineups.
Yep. So walkouts for soccer in particular, they do national anthem, they do the MLS anthem, they do the handshakes, and then up until 7:40 they can't play because of TV. So like all that's us. Like we all know what's going to happen in those moments. All scripted. Team walks out, music's played here, video board goes here, all these other things. We're directing the game.
Go ahead, Sean.
So do they warm up?
That's
for
part of it
about
too.
20 minutes?
Yeah, that's part of it too.
So he's saying before that 10-minute window that you just described.
Yeah.
Beforehand, you got players warming up.
Yeah.
So what do you do? People are walking into
Yeah.
the building. So what's the objective during that time period?
So like what we're doing is, so let's say it's a Temple basketball game, right? Gates open 16 minutes before tip off, and from then DJ's playing music. So DJ's playing music, and it's typically the warm up music of the team selection. Is that when they choose what gets played there? Happens at NBA, happens all over the place, right? That's normal standard procedure. In our conference, the national anthem happens at 12 minutes. So we're playing music until like 30 minutes. We're doing PA reads too from 30 minutes on to like 20 minutes, and then national anthem happens at 12. And then from then the ball kind of gets rolling. So we have a tunnel walk that we go live to in the tunnel for that's shot, tunnel video. After the tunnel video, the guys run out on the court, and there's 5 minutes left in that time frame. We're cueing the band to go. Like there's a lot of things that are happening that you're like, oh, this is just like, normal, but we're involved in queuing and making sure these things happen on time. I think is the big one. A lot of our job is timing and making sure everything happens when it's supposed to happen. Nothing is late. And just making sure everything looks nice too. Like whether it's music and lights, the video board, whatever it is. We're a part of like everything besides like the actual dribbling of the basketball is what we do.
You could dribble the basketball if you want.
Yeah, but they don't want me dribbling
Okay,
basketball.
just checking. All right, right over here.
Yeah, so when I hear director of marketing, what's a day in the life for you?
Day in the life. Day in the life right now is very slow because we're working in this transition of, hey, we have football next year. We have a really big year for football next year, big schedule. Not sure if you guys know, Penn State's coming to town next year. Yep, 10-year contract. So 10 years ago, we beat Penn State. Big year. I was obviously not there for that, but I know the hype that's around that, and I'm not trying to jinx it, but we're looking at a really, really good attendance for that game. So, like, not even just that game, but, like, how can we mold what we're doing promotion-wise to make sure that we're doing everything we can to get butts in seats and people are having an experience and fun time at the game. So, right now, we're working on next year. If you asked me 2 months ago, what are we doing? We're doing basketball. And we're pretty much only doing basketball. So like, you wake up on a Monday, and you're like, okay, well, let's say the game, actually, I lied. Let's say the game is on Tuesday, okay? So the week before, you either probably had a game on Saturday, right? And you already did that whole script build out and whatnot. So your script for Tuesday is probably either almost done or near done before that game on Saturday. Following me? So the next Monday, you're finishing up that script, making sure you have everything, and that's a lot of like working with other departments. I think is another skill set too that we are involved with. Like I have to be able to understand what an operations director is like, Adobo, a director of basketball operations, because they're the ones that I'm working with on the team more likely than not for basketball, right? With hockey at Princeton, I was working with coach, like, and just being able to work with different people, not even just the coaching staff, working with comms, working with development, working with compliance, all these different things. You have to be able to know how to work with people and understand what they do in order to help get what you need to get done. We can't get anything done without everybody else. We can have a script, we can do this, we can do that, but if there's nothing in the script or nobody helping us with things, then we can't have a good game presentation. So, like, if that game's on Tuesday, Monday we're like, we need to get the script done. Script gets printed on Tuesday because there might be something late that comes in. Tuesday we're like Monday, Tuesday we're prepping, being like, all right, what stuff do we need for the game? We all know what we're doing for the game. Everyone's good for the game, like we're good. And then Tuesday we're executing said game and doing it all over again for the next week. So basketball is a lot of games, just boom, 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 boom. Men's and women's, you gotta remember that too. So it's a lot of like in the wintertime, especially in the fall too, the crossover as well. At Princeton, I was very busy in the spring because I was doing women's lacrosse and we had a ton of other spring sports going on at Princeton. At Temple, there's no baseball, softball, and which is a big lift off of people. And there's really not much else going on besides a couple sports. So we're really focusing on planning for next year, I'd say.
So football, you have Penn State. You have another good big game. Who's the other?
Army's coming to town.
Army.
And there is one more big game. You know it? You're raising your hand because you know it? Oh, last game of the season is a Thursday night football game. So that's going to be a big one, too.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. We'll go here and then over here. Go ahead, Alex.
I'm a little shy to ask this question, so forgive me. But
Don't be shy, man.
But as a marketing director, what is a script, and like,
Okay.
is it like post games or pre game or maybe intermission rituals or traditions? Like maybe national anthem, or like maybe the mascot doing some dances with the
Yeah.
cheerleading, and like what do you do?
It's a good
with
question.
script?
It's actually a good question.
Because I don't think I fully explained it. So a script is exactly what it sounds like. It's just like everything that is going to happen, written down, ready to go, preordained on a piece of paper. So like when we print a script, the timing sheet goes on front. So you ask what a timing sheet is. A timing sheet is just like, again, when everything is happening. So like everything from when is tip off to when do the gates open to when is national anthem, telling everybody this is when everything is happening. Those sheets get put on across the table. Everybody knows what's going on, when it's supposed to go on, there's also other information on there that people can need, like I don't know who the referees are, and TV information, timeout information, yada yada. So that's the first page. And the next page is like, all right, this is what's happening pregame. And it basically, most people's, they look like a table kind of. It's like a table on Excel or a table on Word, if you will. And it's literally just columns. Like, this is what the time is. This is what the game clock says. This is what the item is. This is, if there's a PA read, what it says, what's being read. And then video board, music, lights, just all these different columns, and it gets broken down by like element by element. I guess that's the best way to put it, is that the script is a bunch of elements that are put together to comprise a game.
And a big part of that is sponsorships. So
Yes.
you have to meet these sponsorship obligations that are connected to whatever, oh, we're doing a free throw and,
Yeah.
during this timeout, or we're
Yeah.
doing, the mascot's doing some kind of giveaway with a shirt giveaway
Yeah.
or something like that.
We have a partnership with PA Lottery, and a few games a year they do this free throw contest where someone can win web cash, and we have to fulfill that. So we got to put that in the script and put it in a place that makes sense and make sure that gets executed, because if we don't, we're in trouble, because a sponsor paid money, a partner paid money for that. So we're liable for that. That's what I'm saying. Like, we can't do what we do without everybody else. Like, we need to execute, and that's a big part of what we do, is like, how can we get things done?
All right, let's go over here. Go ahead, Dylan.
So this is like not really a two-part question, but like you said, like when Penn State comes down, you're anticipating a really big crowd. So how different is like your job specifically? And then the second part is like Penn State travels very well, so you might have like the away team not taking over, but a lot more than you would really expect. So how do you kind of like mitigate that for like the Temple home fans?
A big part of college athletics is keeping your mouth shut when you're supposed to. So I have to keep my mouth shut. But Penn State versus Temple is a historic rivalry. 10 years ago, in 2016, when we beat them, the link was packed. And it was packed with Penn State people, but it was packed. So I think for us, finding out how we're going to capitalize on a packed crowd is big. It's like, how are we going to do that? And generally speaking, like, how are we going to propel that out the rest of the season? Because what if they beat them again? Then we're looking at, all right, people are going to be excited about this team going forward. We have 5 more football games left to play. Like, we have to start thinking about that now. And of course, like, whether they win or lose that game doesn't really, like, I don't play the games. I don't throw the football. I don't tackle guys. But, like, it doesn't really affect what we do. But it would affect what we do if good things were to happen. So I think for us, like, we're trying to make that game as great as possible in terms of fan engagement, fulfilling the sponsors, sure, but we need to make sure people are having fun, and I think that's a big one.
So the games were at Lincoln Financial Field. 10 years ago, I was at that game. It was sold out, okay? And then Notre Dame played that year as well at Lincoln Financial Field. They beat Temple beat Penn State. They almost beat Notre Dame. Game Day from ESPN was there that day. So you're talking about a lot of opportunities for Temple athletics to be able to promote. So it's a great opportunity for you, frankly, to be able to promote. It doesn't matter if they're Temple or Penn State. It's a lot of fans, football fans, are going to be there for what you're trying to do, and sponsors, and they want eyeballs. They want as many people there as possible. It doesn't matter if they're a Penn State or Temple fan, frankly.
I want them to come and be like, wow, I had a lot of fun. Like, that's the goal. That should be the goal, I think, because what we do is all the fun stuff. So if people aren't having fun, then we didn't do something right.
Yeah.
You
You got to follow
Yeah,
up.
so then say like they do win, how would you prepare moving on for the rest of like that season? Because you said before this that you would like practice as if it happens, and then what would take place differently as if they would win?
That wouldn't be a me question. I think that is a whole athletic department thing, because football is the premier sport at Temple, and everybody kind of understands like what the schedule is this year, and we have to all work hard to make sure that we are putting on the best possible show for Temple fans. And look, like, I'll talk about the elephant in the room. Like, being a mid-major school in the NIL world is hard. Like, it's part of like dealing with the marketing stuff too, because yes, we don't have a direct impact on players getting paid, but the college athletics world is a lot different than what it was when I first started in the business, and I only started a few years ago. And like 10 years ago, when they beat Penn State, like there was a lot of things that weren't happening the way that they are now. Like the transfer portal wasn't a thing, NIL really wasn't a thing, depending on who you talk to. But I feel like now in college athletics, like there is a playing field, and there's like different levels, and we're all watching the tournament right now, and like sure, anything crazy can happen, and with what happened last night, but like it truly is like a different landscape. So for us, it's like, all right, well, everyone here lived through COVID, right? I can talk about this openly. Like I lived through COVID as part of my college life. Like I think that life is a lot different after COVID. I think a lot of humans are a lot more transactional now after COVID, right? What's in it for me? Like what am I going to get out of it? And I touched on this in the beginning, like we're trying to give people experiences. So like we're trying to make that game the best possible game we can, and use that as like an outline for the rest of the season and going forward. And we understand that that is a big assignment. That will be the biggest game that I've ever worked. I've only worked, if you count Jersey Jam, Princeton against Rutgers when we beat them last year, which was an epic win. If you count that, that was like 20,000 people. If you base off what happened 10 years ago, it's gonna be 80,000 people there plus. And I've never worked in an event that big. And I'm excited, but I'm also nervous because it's a lot of people. So how do we, and there's a team of people, it's not just me doing this, like there's 4 or 5 other people on our team that this is a new job for me, like they welcome me with open arms, and we're of this mindset that we have an opportunity to bring Temple back to this culture that we all know it can be at because we saw it with our own eyes. You were a part of that community at one point too. Like there's a lot of rich history at Temple, athletic history at Temple, and we're trying to get it back to this place where students want to come to games, fans want to show up on a Thursday night and watch the basketball team play. People will want to come out on that Thursday night game on a TV night and watch Temple athletics play. So I think that our job is just to keep, when the excitement is there, to keep it rolling and keep it going. And we got to do the right things. We got to make games fun. We got to work with everybody in the department to make sure that we can do our best possible job, because nothing gets done without everybody else.
I did Temple basketball for a year in the early 2000s, and what Temple does is, they can be competitive in a lot of situations, and they have been.
Yeah.
You just try to get back to that point. Over here.
Yeah, back to the scripts. So how many scripts do you guys work on per week?
How many games we got per week? And we haven't even talked about all the other sports yet. We just talked about football, basketball.
Right.
Like at Princeton, there were 38 sports. We weren't involved directly with all of them on the marketing side. We were involved with all the revenue generated sports plus a few more. But at Temple, we have 19 sports. I just talked to you about 3. Like, don't even talk about men's and women's soccer in the fall. And then you got fencing and gymnastics
Field
that are
hockey.
also field hockey. Like all these sports get game presentations. So we have a really awesome team, people that I've welcomed, like I said, with open arms, GAs that are doing these sports and doing things that took me a couple years to learn. They're doing great things, and game presentation goes on for a lot of our other sports as well. So like a soccer, it may not be as fleshed out, but it's there. There's a video board, there's game presentation, there's halftime shenanigans that we do during the game. Women's lacrosse, I mentioned, we also have women's lacrosse at Temple. They were 8-0 at one point, and then they played Rutgers, and I hadn't had to direct any games this year, but I did step in for that game because our GA couldn't be there. It was a 33-goal game, 17-16. And like I had done lacrosse before. I'd done more on the table. I was doing the board at Princeton. I was doing the music. I was directing, but I just had to do the music and direct the game. And it was the most fun. I remember I was like, oh, I feel this rush again of like, I know I should play this song now, or like, here's what we gotta do this time. Like if they call timeout here, here's what we're gonna do. So does that answer your question? It just depends on what's going on the week.
I can imagine the fall's got to be really busy when you're overlapping fall sports into the winter sports.
Yep.
I mean that's got to be. Just imagine you got a football game, then you got 2, women's basketball, men's basketball game. You got these other sports that are going on during that time of year.
There's a name for it. It's called crossover season. It's a thing. Everybody talks about crossover season. The season between the fall ending and the winter beginning, because it's ruthless. Things just come one after the other. It's ruthless. But once you get through it, it's smooth sailing. You get to Christmas, everyone's hanging out, everyone's vibing, and then back in January for conference basketball play, and we're back to rolling again.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go right here. Go ahead, Al.
What's up?
Is there a difference in like the way you schedule the games or in your role when it comes to like regular season games and then like playoff games at all?
Are you talking about like promotional stuff or like actually physically scheduling the games?
I guess a little bit of both.
Okay, so the physical scheduling of the games comes from the actual team operations. So like the director of basketball operations, the head coach, like a lot of those, let's talk about basketball, like non-conference games are scheduled by them. The conference determines when you play for conference games. So on my side of the coin, we're trying to find specific games that work for specific things. For example, we're trying not to do student things when students are not on campus. That kind of is a no-brainer. You know, if things line up with a specific holiday or a specific time of the month, like we are trying to activate on that and trying to make it make sense. Does that kind of answer your question? Like, I think we have a lot of freedom because we just get the schedule and we're like, do what you want with the schedule in terms of like how we're going to market and promote each game. But like sometimes the schedule is the schedule. Sometimes there's a game on Thanksgiving or there's a game on Christmas break or the day after New Year's Eve. Like hockey doubleheader after New Year's Eve was wild for me. So like it just depends. It all depends what kind of school you're at too. So
You know, as you're talking, I'm sitting here thinking you graduated 4 years ago, and now look at all the experience he's had and how confident he is talking about what he does for a living. Like you're going to be there before you know it. And that's the thing that's really impressive because as you said in the beginning, you were right here not too long ago. And now you've experienced a lot. You've been at 4 different institutions.
Yeah.
I think I got it right. 4,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
4 different institutions, 2 of them Division I schools.
Yep.
And like now you're confident in what you're doing and you have a better idea about what you want to do going forward.
Yeah, I really do love what I do. I think that's something that I'm very proud of, that I do love what I do. It's not easy. Like, I talked about grinding. Like, I'm driving an hour and a half every day right now to work. 'Cause I live in Central Jersey still. I'm driving every day. Like, it's just, I'm grinding right now, and I love it. I don't think about it too much. Like, I'd be lying to you if I said I don't not think about it because I have friends that are making a lot more money than me, maybe working from home. Like, they got the life, but I also have the life too because at the end of the day, like when we talk, we're talking about my job. We're not talking about their job. Like we're talking about the cool stuff that I'm doing. Like, and I don't not ask my friends about their jobs, but everyone wants to know what I'm doing because I'm doing some cool things. Like whether it was hockey, Princeton Hockey, the only Division I hockey school in the state, or what we're doing now with Temple, one of the biggest universities in the state of Pennsylvania. So I've been really blessed because none of what I've been able to accomplish has been. I will give myself the credit for the hard work that I put in, and you're right about that, but people have helped me along the way. And I'm not trying to discourage anybody. This is just the honest truth. Like, I haven't gotten a job at all that somebody did not help me with it. Like, somebody helped me with every job. Somebody that knew somebody that, like, vouched for me without even me knowing, like, teamworks and everything. Like, I applied, I did all that stuff, but every job that I've gotten has been because somebody knew who I was. What's up?
To follow up what Neil said, how many L's did you have to take to get to this point?
A ton. A lot.
Can you describe it, like, and how was you able to like just keep going and just stay positive?
I'm not gonna use the camera's on. I'm not gonna use the choice words that I want to use because it's a lot. It's a lot of eating what you don't want to eat. Like you're gonna eat stuff that you're not gonna want to eat, and maybe you can guess the expression that I'm using. But it's like I made a lot of mistakes my first job. Like I really made a lot of mistakes. I didn't know what I was doing. I got sent to spring training for baseball, Division III, right? I didn't know how to start a baseball game. I never started a baseball game. I didn't even watch baseball growing up. I started watching baseball post-COVID. Roll fills. I started watching baseball. I learned how to start baseball in a week, and I was doing baseball games every day. And now I can do it because I had done it for 2 years straight. And
now you're at a school that doesn't have baseball.
Yeah, now I don't do comms. Now I don't have baseball at school. So like, what's the point of that information? But I learned I can't even count in my hands how many volleyball games I had to restart because either the computer messed up and like the technology I worked at Division 3 is rough because you don't have a lot of resources to work. Like you're just kind of like working and trying your best with whatever you have, and even that you feel like you're like, damn, like this is rough because like it wasn't my fault that I couldn't start the volleyball games and like get it right the first time. It's because the computer was old and we couldn't get a new computer. So there were a lot of nights that were like I was up late and grinding and being like, damn, I really don't want to be up this late. Like I can't not be up this late all the time. And I think that the more you're willing to accept that you're going to do things that you're going to look back on and be like, I can't believe I did that. Like, why I did that. In the same breath, you're going to be like, I learned something, I built some character, and I was able to grind. And that's just part of the business, unfortunately. Like, very few people are so talented enough in what they do. I can think of one person off the top of my head who was in my class who was like, and she worked hard too, and I think you know who I'm gonna say. Like, she worked her tail end off. I was sat in class with Kayla Santiago, and I was in her class, like I was the same year as her. That girl worked her tail end off. Like, she deserved the job that she got after college because she grinded. Not everybody had that same
Graduated a
situation.
year early.
And she graduated a year early. Like, not everybody was like that. I was the opposite. I was not doing what I needed to do for 2 years, and I was like playing catch up. So like, I'm really happy that you brought me in here because I feel like that's important for me to say. Like, it's not too late, but sooner or later it will be too late if you don't do something. It doesn't have to be what you think you want to do. It has to just be something, and then get your foot in the door and keep going is the best advice I can give you.
Take that advice. Listen to him. He's been down, 4 years removed, and he's accomplished a lot.
I hope to come back in 4 years. Maybe you all won't be here, but like hopefully in 4 years I have either a cooler title here or I'm doing something even cooler. Like I'm still grinding. Like I'm still on the way up. I'm still moving up, and a lot of my peers who graduated in the same years, like Sports Cam, like we're all grinding. I see it all out there online. I see stuff you're posting. Like it's a grind. And if you're here for it, great. If it's not for you, it's totally fine. Like some people have to leave because they have to leave, not because they want to leave. Like personal life choices, it's not for everybody because sometimes it's just not for everybody. It might not be something for me at one point in my life too. I don't know. But for now, I've been here, I've been grinding and sticking with it, and you're a big part of that, and these have been a big part of that. I'm rambling now. My first Pizza with the Pros.
Who was it?
Tom McCarthy.
Oh. We had him here again this year?
No, it was not here though. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You had him here again?
Well, we had him here. He's the first guest that I repeated.
He's a
in
great guest.
7 years.
You didn't repeat Merrill?
No. Oh, Merrill was John Giannini, and that was just because they went over to Chickies and Pete's because Merrill was there that day.
Okay.
So that wasn't really, but kind of a little bit. But the first one, with beginning of the semester, Tom McCarthy, 193 people were in this room. 195 people were in this room.
So that's not how many people were there for my first Pizza with the Pros, Tom McCarthy. It was actually not here. It was
in
at
the
the
art
art gallery.
Yeah.
And we all sat in a circle.
Yeah.
And I sat 2 seats away from Tom McCarthy. And I had no idea who he was. I'm not gonna lie. I was not in the area. I did not grow up in this area. I didn't know who he was. So I'm sitting here listening to him talk, and I'm like, yeah, this guy's pretty cool. Like he's got a cool like life and stuff. And like lo and behold, now I am a Phillies fan, and like I love Tom McCarthy. Like that's my guy because I love him and John Kruk, and I can respect everything that he's done. Being a Mets guy, going to the Phils, and doing something that was better for him at the end of the day. I really respected that, even though his heart lied with New York, and he joined the dark side, and we're all here for it. So
let's give Mo a round of applause for being here today. Thanks, Mo.